Alright everyone, welcome back to this another Beefcast production. I'm your casting host Beef. Thank you very much for joining me today. Going to be casting some replays for you coming out of the Assembly 2012 Summer Asus ROG tournament here in Helsinki. This is going to be a group stage match between two very well-known players. I've gone ahead and selected a few players that people might be interested in watching some games of. Going to be casting a lot of those replays today. But enough talk, let's get right on into it. Here on Ohana, in Game 1 of this series, a ZVT, we do have the Kraken himself. The blue Zerg, he is EG.IdrA. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we do have his opponent for the day. Many are considering him one of the very best in the world right now. Currently absolutely carrying Team Liquid through team leagues and just absolutely dominating everything that he enters, winning a recent, well, what's he won recently? He's won an MLG. He's won a whole lot of things, really. He is Liquid.Taeja. Alright, so we're getting into this game here on Ohana. And yeah, it looks like there's actually going to be a proxy racks coming out of Taeja right now. So Taeja is very well known for doing some of these proxy racks shenanigans, and the reason for this specific proxy racks right here is most likely to intercept an overlord. If, well, actually now it's looking like a 2-rack, so it's not going to be just about intercepting an overlord. But look at that. IdrA with an absolutely beautiful scout is going to send a drone right by these two proxy racks, immediately finding them, trying to put a drone onto one of the SCVs, going to delay production of these two right here, right now, and let's see how he reacts. He's going to react actually by dropping hatch first, knowing that he's already scouted this. He's going to be looking to just defend with a economic opening, going to be dropping a pool right there on 14 supply. And so we look back at IdrA's base. He's going to be just reliant on that pool right now. No big deal. The second racks is going to be continuing with the SCV right now. And back home for Taeja, not anything too special. Just going to be continuing with this 2-racks pressure, dropping another supply depot. And there is going to be a pretty constant stream of Marines. One SCV over here already in position to start continuing a bunker. The other SCV with low life going ahead and continue. So we got 2 SCVs currently in the base, in addition to 1 Marine right now. 3 drones being pulled, getting a nice surround on that SCV. The low life drone does go ahead and fall right there, instead opting to try to get that Marine. But right now a lot more drones going to be pulled right there. A total of 6 drones right there going to be pulled, and they are going to be able to get the bunker down. Maybe not. Marines in the back going to be firing, doing a lot of damage to these drones. A lot of the drones now in the orange and the red. 1 SCV going to be continuing production here onto the bunker, and the bunker about 80% of the way completed right now, with 4 Zerglings on the way, but Queens are not in production right now. A lot of drones and a few Zerglings going to have to be pulled right now, but 3 Marines do end up making it into the bunker. All the repairing SCVs do go down, as well as the bunker, and all the SCVs are going to be cleaned up by those Zerglings at this point. Marines going to be forced to retreat, and right here, as the last couple of Marines do complete, the barracks will be forced to lift off, as the Zerglings are going to be making their way over there to try to put a little bit of pressure on them. Back in Taeja's base, a couple mules going to be coming down right now, nothing too big of a deal, and an SCV going to be moving down to start a command center on the low ground. It's a bit of a bold move right now, knowing how many Zerglings there are on the map, and knowing that his only form of army production is in fact out on the map, so there are going to be no more Marines at this point. 8 Marines versus well, a lot of Zerglings right there, about 10 Zerglings. Yeah, exactly. There's going to be SCVs that need to be pulled. SCVs going to be playing the offensive line right here for the Marines, and the Marines are going to be able to drive back the Zerglings for now. So we'll see how IdrA chooses to follow this up. And right now, it looks like he's just going to continue macroing back home. Nothing too much. The 2 barracks are going to be continuing to float back in, and Zergling's going to be coming back in to try to put a little bit of pressure on round 2 right now. But the SCVs are nowhere in sight at this point, and there are still just these 4 Marines. But Zergling's going to go ahead and retreat for now, knowing that these barracks are going to be landing in. Maybe just try to block the barracks a little bit. We'll see. Back at home for IdrA, just continuing to macro up right now. Let's take a look at the drone count versus the SCV count. After forcing all these links right here, IdrA's economy and his macro in general were hampered a little bit, only at about 25 drones right now, getting both of his queens up. But now with another round of 6 drones, he's going to be macroing up very nicely, knowing that he's under absolutely no pressure whatsoever. These Marines doing a very good job of microing right now, getting themselves into an extremely favorable position, minimizing surface area that these Zerglings can be attacking them, and the Marines even going to be on the other side of the racks as they come out. And every single one of these Zerglings looks to be cleaned up right now by the Marines. One Zergling left. We'll see if it can. It can't even get up the ramp right now. Not going to be able to check for gas, anything of that nature right now. I don't believe... Yeah, IdrA was never able to get the Overlord into position over there because of that path that was cut off by that proxy rack. So, does not know the gas timings, knows nothing about the third command center right now. IdrA still has not dropped a gas. That third base is going to be going down right there at about the 7:15 mark. So it's a little bit late for a standard ZVT third hatchery right now. But with all that 2x pressure and the counter aggression by IdrA, absolutely understandable. 4 Marines going to be making their way across the map right now. IdrA has no clue that those are coming, and he is going to be forced to make a few lings if he wants to defend that third. The Queen's just not going to be able to make it over there in time, but these 4 Marines are going to do a fantastic job of sniping one Overlord right there, and if they hustle on over, they're going to be able to get a second Overlord too, and that's actually something that's extremely annoying for IdrA. He's going to be forced to use not only 200 minerals to replace those 2 to get out of the supply block, but he's going to need to make about 3 to even 4 Overlords really to recover from that, which is going to be a lot of his bank right there. 3 Overlords going to be coming out right now, but that's actually Larva that he could have been using for drones as well. And Larva is actually a large limiting factor right now when you're only working off 2 bays, which is why he's dropping that macro hatchery. Meanwhile, back at home for Taeja, Stim has started upgrading, as well as Hellion's reactor coming down to the factory right now, in addition to 2 engineering bays. The engineering bay is going to start double upgrades as soon as they are done. And these 4 Marines doing their best to take off this third hatchery right there, but Zerglings and a couple of Queens are going to come over and be able to dispatch that pretty easily. 2 Hellions going to be making their way into the third right now, and they see that large group of Zerglings, and instead of firing at all of those Zerglings, they choose to take out one, but no big deal. That Hellion's still a hero in that book. 2 Queens going to be firing on the Hellions there and easily dispatching one of those Hellions. Back at Taeja's base, he is going up to 3 racks now, with 2 reactors coming down in addition to that Stim research, so I would not be surprised to see Taeja looking to hit somewhat of a Stim timing here. Stim with Hellions is going to be an incredibly effective way of getting that third down. The third already very, very low on life, and IdrA's going to have to be very cautious with his drone production just because he knows that that third is so vulnerable because it's already so low. They're going to be started in the main over here, in addition to +1/1 upgrades for his Zerglings. Going up to 4 gas right now, so that when that layer completes, he is going to be able to get up his tech of any choice. Marine production and a couple of Marauders going to be continuing back at home, as there is a run-by into the natural over here with those Hellions, but the Hellions getting surrounded, beautiful surround by those Zerglings right there, and all 5 Hellions are going to go down with ease. Very nice job from IdrA. Let's take a look here at the army composition. 5 Queens out right now for IdrA, so he's going to have 1 in his main. Doesn't have enough to be injecting both those right there, but 2 of these Queens right here are going to be used purely for creep spread, so his creep spread is going to get pretty out of control here in about 3 minutes or so, unless Taeja is able to get over there and clean up some of that creep spread with that third command center, the macro CC as it were, in his base. He is going to have enough energy for scans. So once he gets up to a critical mass of units and probably gets those 2 medevacs right there out, he will be moving across the map with +1/1 completing right now, and his first medevacs coming out right now, and 4 racks completing inside of his main. I would expect Taeja to be hitting a timing right here in the next couple of minutes. Right now it is 12 minutes into the game, and this is the time that Zergs are starting to favor Hive Tech more and more, and as that Hive Tech comes up, that is an extremely vulnerable part of the Zerg metagame. You just really don't have the units right there. You're trying to bank as much gas as you can to get up your Hive Tech of choice, whether it is going to be Broodlords or Ultras, but you're really just trying to bank that gas. You're trying to rely on Zergling and Infester at that time, and so you're really vulnerable. The Terran has a excellent opportunity to pick off some units right there, but not for IdrA right now. Zerglings and Banelings going to be coming across the map right now. Zerglings and Banelings going to be trying to clean up all of these Marines and Marauders. A couple of Marines and Marauders are going to be picked up right there, and actually absolutely beautiful pickups. He lost 2 Marines in all of that. absolutely gorgeous there from our Terran player. Right now, the factory is going to spot the 4th base coming down for EG.IdrA. For EG.IdrA right now, he has actually dropped a Spire. I thought I saw the Spire right there. So there is going to be a Mutaling Bling transition here from EG.IdrA. Something that's fallen out of the favor a little bit, but something that EG.IdrA has been more and more fond of over time. He really never wanted to give it up in the first place, and so it doesn't surprise me to see that he is in fact going to be going into this build right here. But with that factory scouting, it's pretty clear to EG.IdrA that the number of tanks that are in this composition, they're pretty low, and that's what Mutalisks really excel at dealing with. They're able to get around and use your Mutalisks not to fight the other army, but to pick off errant medevacs and to pick off tanks. So with no tanks in this army, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for EG.IdrA to deal with Taeja's composition. All the way over here, we do see that there is a large bioforce going to be stimming all the way over into the 4th base. A lot of Banelings going to be rolling in right now. With Baneling speed on creep, it's going to be very difficult to try to kill all of these Banelings. And 10 Banelings going to be making a decent connection there, but the Marauders were out in front. Beautiful splits here by Taeja, and right now the Mutalisks are being forced to fight with the Marines. The Zerglings going to be cleaning up a large number of them. The Mutalisks going to be targeting their fire onto the medevacs, taking out one medevac there, but the Marines stemmed up right there with 1-1 are extremely effective against these 0-0 mutas. And rightly so, Taeja just going to choose to fall back, going to save all those Marines, going to save all those medevacs, and say, hey, we'll do that again in here in about 3 minutes or so. EG.IdrA now starting to saturate that 4th base right there with one spine crawler down for defense. With all these floating minerals, I'd like to see a few more spine crawlers down in that area, but no big deal. A couple of queens going to be coming out, try to get this creep spread going even further, but they are going to be pushed back. One of them does indeed fall, but with no concussive shells right now, which I don't know, it says there is concussive shells. For some reason that queen just didn't look very slowed to me. Baneling's going to be rolling by right now, but Zerglings and Mutalisks and Baneling's going to be coming in onto this army from Taeja. Mutalisks continuing to fire down those medevacs, taking out one so far, but these Zerglings and Banelings are going to be connecting with the Marines fairly well, but another reinforcing unit of bio over here, and 2 more Banelings going to be rolling in, trying not to use those on bio units that aren't needed right now, but Taeja is actually looking like he's going to be pushed back into his natural right now. Absolutely no defenses for the 3rd, as the Zerglings are going to make their way over there right now. A lot of Banelings morphing on this ramp, and a few Mutalisks still going to be in there trying to pick off whatever they can. Only one medevac left on the field right now, and the Zerglings and Banelings actually looking like they're just going to clean up absolutely everything, and Taeja actually dropping game number 1. Wow, so a very cool strategy there by EG.IdrA, using that Mutalisk tactic that's not too common right now in the matchup. No infestors whatsoever, even though he had the infestation pit coming out right there. But very nice game by EG.IdrA there. He takes game number 1, and so we're going to be moving right on to game number 2. Thank you very much for joining me. I've been your casting host, Beef, and we'll see you in the next game.